Hi everyone, April 2026 already. Made it through the winter here in Minnesota. Fortunately, weather still isn't making its mind up yet on what if spring's finally gonna get here. So I cleaned up everything this past weekend. Just want to share some updates on things that I've done with the turtle room and just how things are going along here. So out of my living room down here, I've got my male spotted turtle still. This is the first year now with all my adult spotteds. I took the heaters out of their tanks. In the past, I always left them in there because it does get a little cooler down here in the winter, just so that they would have at least the tanks weren't getting warmed. It's not like I was setting the tank to 78 degrees, 80 degrees. I was setting it like, I think they're like at 72, 73. Just kind of like a threshold to prevent it from going down towards a temperature that I was less comfortable with, I guess. I know spotteds are cold tolerant, but I mean, the water is a lot cooler. But how I combated that was just, I increased the wattage on these light bulbs. They were at like a 50 watt. Now I went up to a 75 watt. And I had no issues with my adults at all this winter. So there's one of my male spotteds here begging for food. He's my really colorful one there. Obviously, guppies are still doing super well here, even without a heater in the tank. There's even a female beta in here too. Oh, there she is, but way back there. There's a female back there. And he can't fit in there. I've seen him look in there. There's no way he's gonna get stuck in there. I've already tested that out. Make sure there's not any accidents that would happen. The water is a little bit deeper, but them being adults and the males, as long as he can stand on those back feet and get his head above the water, I'm not too worried about it. Hatchling spotted turtles, I would absolutely not do something like this. I tried it in the past with a lot of different floaties and stuff for them to get out of the water, and I had some problems. So that's why they came out of here, and it was a very good decision to do that. There's another male down here. So one that was more darker, and he's gained a couple of speckles now on the back there. So if you remember from old videos, they used to share a wireland tub where I had a divider down the middle. Now they both have all the space to themselves now. The only real big differences between these two tanks is I've got gravel on the bottom here. It's not something that he can actually eat. It's big enough. And again, there's a beta in here too. Female somewhere. I saw her yesterday when I was cleaning the tank. I do notice the guppies don't do as well in this tank. Probably being right on the concrete floor. Yeah, there's carpet there, but we are on ground level. And I'm sure that those betas get a lot of the baby fish too. So we'll walk over to the turtle room here. I got some changes in here. Just gonna shut this door so you can we'll kind of like start from left and go to right here. So up on top here, I've got all my like baby box turtles. I had some leaf turtles that just graduated out of these tanks. Now these tops do have some holes drilled in there. Let some that air exchange happen. I am taking them out every other day to feed these guys. There's a little baby Florida box turtle. Now UVB isn't really like that important when they're young like that, and how they're getting their heat just get enough warmth that comes up from up here. They get all that from underneath. And I have raised a lot of Florida box, like all my adults were raised like that I started as hatchlings. Here's my big and colorful Florida box turtle male right here. Now with this tank, I used to have a divider down this middle where I had 2 males, and I used to have a visual barrier so they couldn't see each other. Now I've moved both of those guys into their own tanks. Fake plants and all the box turtle tanks too. And look at that beak, pretty trimmed. Oh, you can keep that way. Provide them cuddle bones. They really mow those down, keeps those beaks nice and trimmed. Yeah, 48-inch long UVB light that runs across here too. Now that water dish, obviously I just cleaned it out. Box turtles make a mess out of it, and just, I mean, it will look totally different in just a couple hours. This is one of my old style PVC. Eventually I want to switch it out to a different brand. I'd like to do another toad ranch on top. So down here, I actually used to have those Dalmatian Herman's tortoises in here. It's just a little foggy like that. It's just the humidity so high. And you'll notice that with some of the tanks. I'm gonna pull the glass back so you can look at them different. So the tortoises just weren't for me. Like, I did enjoy them. Just, I wanted to focus on fewer species, and just being in Minnesota too, for me, they just weren't a species. Tortoises just aren't a species for me to work with. So I sent those all four of them ended up being males. I sent them off to a friend of mine. Back in that corner, it's a blind, stunted growth boxer turtle. She used to be in her own tank. I mean, she's like twice the age of this one that's actually buried out down here. This one's just coming up on 2 years, and you just see the difference in size on these two. So this one, again, raised the same way as what I'm showing up on top in those little plastic tubs. And now with those plastic tubs too, I want to go back to there's a lot of guys that do the water method. I like using the wet sphagnum. You got to do what works for you. Both methods work. People that argue one way works better than the other, they both work well. So I got 3 females that are in here now instead of the Herman's tortoises. It's another adult female here. She's been laying a lot of eggs. Again, had her as a hatchling, grew up the same way. How smooth her shell is, how nice and clean her beak is too. Gotta keep cuddle bones with them. Heat lamp in there. Feels a little tropical in there. So down here I used to have 5 of the adult females in there until I broke things up. This is a female here that I got as an adult. I had a friend that got out of keeping Florida box turtles, so I bought some of his adults when he got out of keeping them. And there's another one too that I got from him. Now these PVC enclosures that you're looking at, they're 6 feet long. The bottom 2 are 24 inches high, and they are 24 inches deep. Another one, that was one that I had, it's a hatchling too. A little bit more cooler side on this side. I have never found eggs on this side. It's always on the side near that heat lamp. I've also got isopods in all these tanks too. They usually hide underneath these water dishes, or like, wouldn't be surprised there's some under this little like rock feeding dish too. I'm surprised there's not anything under there. It's usually where I find them. I'm gonna start out over here. So all the Exos you're gonna see on this side, I've got all those Spangleri in. And some of them are pretty new, as far as like, you're not gonna see as much plant growth in there. Time will get those plants to really come out. All my water, a lot of my setups and my Exos are gonna be fairly similar. I got pennies in all the dishes. These pennies predated 1982, made mostly out of copper. Again, water dishes. Just because you put those in there, you still have to, oh, look at, there's a little spider that's coming down. You still got to change your water dishes out. I change them out about 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll hit up some of them even more, depending on how messy they make them. They do like just sitting in those water bowls. Here's one adult females right there. Just the other day I saw her sitting up, she climbed up here. And normally these LED bulbs in the back, I don't have those on. There's no reason necessarily to have them on. They're not providing any UVB, and I got this light slid back a little bit. So there's a company that makes these glass panels, these inserts that sit on here. I don't know if I can see them. You see this little glass. So they cover the front ones completely, and then the back ones, there's a little slot there that allows for your UVB to go through. So, and then some ventilation. But the idea with putting those panels on there is to help increase that humidity in here. And it does, and obviously it's working. I love those panels. Just another setup here. I know a lot of guys too, these backgrounds that Exo makes, one of the first things they do is they tear them out and they do their own background. I like them, and when I have like taken things down and look behind them, that's where a lot of all the isopods actually I have found hanging out. The little leaf turtles way down here. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick them up. Hanging down underneath the log there. And now this PVC here tank, I used to have the Eastern box turtle male. I do still have him. He's actually in my son's room now. He had a bearded dragon that just didn't make it this last year. So instead of getting another dragon, I convinced him to try out keeping a box turtle in his room. A little bit easier pet. So what I put in here now is the other adult male Florida box turtle. There he is right there. A little bit less colorful. He is my first one. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up. There is just tons of isopods in this tank, and this is actually where I take a lot of my isopods out of, and I'll put them in the spang tanks. And problem with the Spangleri, they just like they overeat way too much. So I'll take these things and put them in the tank, their tanks at night, thinking that, oh, they're gonna have more of a fighting chance. But the Spangleri, I've actually seen just my overhead light, they wake up and they start chasing them around, which is really limited light. So that's what's going on in this tank here. I'm gonna take this jade plant out of here too. I had it sitting outside during the summer. I just needed some place to put it for the winter. And then this PVC is also only 5 feet long, where the other ones are 6 feet long, and it's just a little bit shorter. It's 21 inches high versus 24. So this is kind of an idea of those panels. These are ones that I cut, and they're pain in the butt to cut. And this is just polycarbonate, or those are actual like real glass panels on top. Not that it matters too much. Got our nesting area from our adult female spotted turtles. And no heater in the tank, in the tub at all this year. So we got 3 in there. And this is how I keep like newly fresh spotted turtles hatched. This is where they go into something like really shallow like this, and then I just keep them under a little bit of UVB. So one of these hatched just about a day ago, another one about 2 days ago. They'll stay in here right around 2 weeks before I put them in the bigger tank. Gives them some time to flatten out a little bit, and then I can observe more that they're eating in here. Another tub here, female spotted turtles. Nesting area, and it's just kind of like scruffed up over there because I really deep dived into my cleaning yesterday. And these plants are hanging on here just to die down that sound of all that splashing going on. It drives me nuts. And then again, I got those filters sitting on a rock. If they're sitting directly on the ground floor of these tubs, especially if you're using sand, your filters are just going to get chewed up so fast. And these tops too, ultimately on inside I don't like them because they just can't enjoy the turtles as much. You're looking down at them, it takes away some of that viewing area. So I might cut some of these lips a little bit indoors because I do like hanging stuff on them, and I also dry stuff out with egg crate down here too. Here's a newly done spang tank here. And all these tanks, you're going to see some limited leaf litter because I did add some. I thought I had enough, and I just didn't have enough. So I got more coming. A lot of times I'll see her. She's pretty new to this tank, only a couple weeks now, so she's kind of really adjusting. She's back there right now. This is my first spang here. I think I'm gonna feed her right now. It's a little bit more grown. And I've got cuddle bones in for these guys, but I've never seen them mess with them at all. Now I've had to replace them because the isopods will like devour like that, just one side of here. And this is how you're gonna see them a lot of times, sitting in a water dish. They're not in a water dish, they're a lot of times they're at the front of the glass and they're begging. This log here is one of those aquatic turtle logs. I think they even make like a fish one, but I bought it thinking it'd be cool to use in my tank, but then I just so paranoid of turtles getting possibly stuck in these holes here, coming out and possibly drown. So I just made better use out of that. Another one, fairly new to this tank too. Already messed up the water in here. And this is one I had, you can tell where I ran out of my leaf litter. Here's one of my new turtles I just got. I was looking for an adult male. And one thing with these species is you really gotta watch who you get them from. So there was a reputable seller that was selling a pair of them. And I jumped at that opportunity after reaching out to a couple people and just getting some reference checks on them. The only thing different that I had to switch here is, you can see that's one of the ones that got the LEDs on there. Even though I wasn't using the LEDs, that light, that T5, was kicking out a little bit too much heat. And my temperature here was like getting up to about like 81, and it's not even quite summer yet. So I went back to one of these T8 bulbs to run it across. You can see there's a little bit of a gap for that bulb to shine through. So these tanks on this side, these are the 24-inch long ones by 18 deep and only 12 inches high. Whereas these ones, now this fixture is kicking a little bit more heat, but because of the height of these, my temperature is not getting as warm. It's more area is what these were, so it's worked out perfect. And then here is the adult male that I had been looking for. He's down. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick him up. Yep, the camera's not gonna pick him up at all. And the only downside to this rack system, so I used to have 77-inch tall post here, and I upgraded to the 96-inch tall post, and I'm not tall enough standing to view these easily, and I'm not exactly short. I'm 6'2". I know someone like Anthony could probably just walk in here no problem, and like, height's got to be a blessing for that. But now I've had to pull a stool feel a little vertically challenged for my setups on the top here. So she's super interactive. A lot of times I open up the tank. I've only had her a couple weeks now. She'll come running up, feed her right on my hands. The male's a little more shy, but he is eating on my hands, and he is. I see him getting into the water dish too. So that's that wall of tanks there. And then down over here on this side, I used to have a workbench where I kept the incubator on. I switched that over to another tall rack system, and I got some spotted turtles and Florida box turtle eggs incubating. I switched back to the Zoo Med one just because this one, I just feel like this one breathes a little bit better, and I was having a lot of unsuccessful hatch rates with the Floridas. Not so much the spotted turtles. Just about every spotted turtle egg that's laid hatches. But I just want to try something a little bit different this year to see if my hatch rates improve. Just try it, because someone said you keep trying things that aren't working, you're just going to come up with the same result. So try something different. I had those spotteds just hatched in here, so I know it didn't affect the spotteds, but there are 7 viable Florida box turtle eggs. What's happening with those Florida box turtle eggs, it gets close to that time they're supposed to hatch, and then nothing happens. I'll open them up about several weeks later, and there'll be a dead, fully developed turtle in there. And then down here is where I'm keeping my hatchling spotted turtles now. I got 10 of them in here right now. This is the Zoo Med low boy tank. A lot of stuff for them to grab onto. Got a pothos growing out of some lava rock in there. keep that splashing down, I just have the filter exiting into there. And the only downside to this low boy that I don't like is a lot of debris will pile up on this side, just because it's got the length to it. So when I'm adding water there on this side, I'll splash it on this side to get the movement going to the other side here. And then also with the babies, I did start them not having a heater in there. Now they just didn't seem as spunky without the heater in there. So I did put a heater in this tank. And with the hatchlings, yes, I know they're spotted turtles, they're cold tolerant. They just do so much better with the heater in the water. Now it's not like a tropical type of water. It's just keeping like just almost like a couple degree difference than what the adults are at. I just get a lot better growth in there. They don't act as sluggish. I think I'm gonna feed them right now. But pretty cool tank to just sit and watch the little babies buzz around in there. So that's some of the updates. So basically now I'm just working with spotted turtles, Florida box turtles, and I got the Spangler Eye project going on right now too. And I did start some stuff outside late summer, early fall. Winter came around, so that stuff got all put on hold. So when those plants and stuff start coming up, I'm gonna have to try to do a video on the stuff going on out there, because I do put I got the enclosure for my Florida box turtles out there to put them out during the day. And then I've also got an outdoor spotted turtle tub that I was working on prior to the winter season. So then I know we do have that eastern box turtle. He's a lone male. I haven't decided whether I was going to even do any females. More like just he was a rescue kind of pet situation. So he's up in my son's room. Maybe do an update on him at on a future day. So just wanted to share a video again, just get everything all cleaned up. A little update video. If you got any questions, just leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you. And thanks for watching again. Thanks.